Hey everybody, Ryan Riell here. Welcome to the March San Diego market update live coming to you. We're about a minute before 5 o'clock, so we're going to give some people more time to get logged in. I'm excited to be here and basically break down what the heck is going on in this market. This is craziness that we're seeing. It's only going to get crazier, so we're going to get to all this stuff. My promise to you guys today is we're going to be done within a half hour. That's the goal. That's the promise. Leave a little bit of time after that for Q&A. I know I have a couple questions that had been sent in already, but those of you that are here, feel free to to put your questions in the chat. I'll be monitoring that as we go. But the goal today is to get the data to you. What's going on in the market? What's this looking like? So we're at 5 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get the slides going here. So let's go and pop these guys up. Let's see where it has my lovely face on here. Let's get moved into a different corner of this thing here. All right. Changing the design. Got a couple more people logging in, so I'm glad we're taking a second here. All right, move me up there. That way, if there's any data down here, you guys can see this. So, all right, let's get to it. San Diego market update for March. Very simple, very straightforward. Let's go. First thing that is on everybody's mind is interest rates. What the heck is going on? We know that the PPI report came out yesterday, was hotter than expected. A lot of questions on what's going on. When are the rates going to be cut? So let's dig into interest rates. Let's see what's going on here. The first thing, these are current mortgage rates. This is the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. This is predominantly what you're hearing people talk about. Basically, here in San Diego County, what that's meaning is it is $1,007,000 or less. That's the loan amount. If we go over that, we're a jumbo loan, so we're going to take a look at that here in a minute. But this is looking back a few years here. So they peaked in October on the 19th of last year at 8.03%. We saw a nice drop down to 6.2%. I want you to notice the sharpness of this drop. This wasn't a gradual drop. It happened over a few days. Dropped down to 6.2%, 6.62%. We saw buyers react to that. We saw the market surge. We crept back up, dropped down to 6.62 again. Again, saw the market surge. We're going to get into this when we talk about the median pricing. Again, creep back up, drop back down last week, about 10 days ago or so, to 6.85. Market jumped again. We're currently sitting right here around 7%. All right, now keep in mind, these are just national averages. This is middle of the road. This is not taking into account your circumstances, your income, your credit score, your debt to income ratio, your down payment. All those things play into this. I have a phenomenal lender who's actually going to be joining us from April going forward. Mohammed Tawi, #1 mortgage broker with guaranteed rate in San Diego. He's like top 10 in the country. Phenomenal problem solver. His rates are better than this. His rates for the 30-year fix, last time I chatted with him earlier this morning, they were in the mid-sixes depending upon your specific criteria. All right, so we'll have Mohammed joining us next month going forward. You're going to get info straight for him and be able to ask him questions. But here's what we're looking like with the 30-year fix. All right, when we flip over to the next one, looking at the jumbo, so this is a loan amount of $1,007,000 or more, we see essentially the same thing. So about a year ago, we had interest rates at 6.39%. They climbed all the way up to 7.8% in November, dropped back down to 6.86 through November, all the way down to January 3rd. Creep back up, drop back down again. Same basic thing. These rates mid to upper sixes, depending upon your criteria. We also have strategies to lower both of these even more. But this is what's going on with interest rates. These higher interest rates are what is keeping this market at bay. It's what's keeping it from absolutely exploding. As these interest rates come down, we're going to see this with the median pricing, the market jumps big time. All right, so here's what's going on with the rates. What the heck is going to change this? How is this going to happen? All right, so problem number one that we're looking at is the Fed needs to cut the rates. All right, the mortgage rates, they trail or they trace along with the 10-year T-bill or Treasury bill. When we look at when is the Fed going to do this, there are actual odds, just like betting on sports. The odds for the Fed to cut the rates on March 20th, and they're meeting that day, about 0%. Not going to happen. May 1st, about 4%. So we're looking at the earliest is in that June 12 meeting. It's a 63% chance, down from 67%. And for the rest of the year, there is a 69% chance, these are the odds in Vegas, that there will be a 3/4 basis point cut, 0.75%, or 0.75 basis point cut, which will drop the interest rates down. All right, so this is problem number one. We're waiting on the Fed. In general, they are driving while looking in the rearview mirror. They are not looking at where the economy is, and they are certainly not looking at where it's going. So we're waiting on the Fed. That's basically what we're looking at here. The next piece of this pie, problem number two, active listings. All right, here's San Diego going back to 2014. You see that we had somewhere between 10 to 15,000 listings right up until the middle part of 2019. We got into 2020, COVID, and we just simply dropped. We peaked back up in the middle of 2022. This was when interest rates shot up, and then we have dropped, and we are just floating around that 2,500 to 3,000 range. I think as of today, we are around 3,000, 3,100 active listings. All right, so when inventory is going to remain suppressed like this, we're going to have an issue with the market and pricing going up, even with these higher interest rates. The last part of this isn't something that a lot of people talk about. It's not really reported. So this is from MBS Highway with Barry Habib, phenomenal analyst. What we're looking at here in the blue are household formations. Right, this is a new family, new baby. Now we have a married couple has a baby, has a second baby, third baby, whatever that is, a formation. All right, and then in the gold bars, we're looking at house completions, brand new construction. This is a national picture right here. We see that over the last 3 years, we've seen an increase, 21, 22, 23, increase in formations. We've seen a smaller increase in building. We look at this in San Diego, good luck. We don't build much out here. It's too hard to do, too expensive to do, too many hoops to jump through. It's just not happening. And, oh yeah, there's not a lot of land to build onto. All right, so these are the three things that have to change. This we don't have any control over. The Fed, maybe at some point we'll figure out what they're doing here and get these rates cut without this turning into a political football. And that's what we're looking at here with the interest rates. So let's move on. Next part of this. When are we going to see what's the forecast, right, with the rates? 30-year fixed rate, this is at the beginning of the year. They're going to drop somewhere into the mid-5s to the high 6s, right? They're going to be somewhere in that ballpark. Anything, they still could get to the mid-5s. That's a very, very reasonable thing. Anytime that we see these rates get under 6%, we are going to see a lot of buyers get unlocked. We're going to see the market explode. We're going to have move-up buyers, so someone who wants to go from a townhome to a single-family home, a condo to a single-family home, a 2,000 square foot single-family home to a 3,500, a move up in size. But we're also going to see the unlocking of move-down buyers, people who own a 3,500 square foot home going to a 2,000 square foot home, someone who owns a single-family home going to a townhome. Because right now, their mortgage payment is going to be the same for a townhome that they're paying for a single-family home. So when we see these interest rates come down, more and more buyers are going to engage, and we're going to dig a lot more into this here when we get to the market. Last part about the T-bill, we're expecting it to be somewhere from 3 to about 4.4%. We should basically look at about a 2% spread. That's what we're trying to get to. That's what the Fed's trying to get to. So that's where we're at with interest rates. So let's get to the housing market. All right, here we go. Median sales price. All right, let's paint a picture here. Going all the way back to May of 2020, right? Essentially when the market and everything in real estate turned back on after COVID first came out, all the craziness was going on, $585,000. Over a 2-year spread, we went up 46% to $855,000. That's the all-time high in San Diego County. Over the next 6, 7, 8 months from May to December of 2022, we gave back 12.4%. This was the bottom of the market right here. We then, from December of 2022 till August of 2022, not 2020, we regained all that ground back up to 850. Last summer, through December of last year, we came back down about 5.5% to 805. We've already gained that all back in 2 months. This is a very, very, very surprising number that we're seeing in January and February. And here's a couple pieces that have to do with this, okay? Number one, the pricing that went up in January, that's data that was reported, sold data reported in January. Those prices were negotiated in December in correlation with that large interest rate drop that we showed you at the beginning of this. We saw February pricing go up, correlated to offers written and accepted in January that closed in February in conjunction with the interest rate drops. We've had an interest rate drop over the last 10 days. It's also going to boost up pricing. You're seeing where this is going. The second surprising part, this 5.5% increase in the median sales price, we don't see this normally at all in January, let alone necessarily into February. These are February, March to April numbers that we're seeing. And so this is an indicator that there is a tremendous amount of buyer demand. And when the interest rates come down, they all come back onto the market. Interest rates go up, they slide back off the market. Every time, the last 3 times they've come down, we've seen pricing go up. All right, so this is where we're at. Where is this going? We're going to get to that in a few minutes, but it's not going down. I'll give you that one right now. All right, next key metric here, months of inventory, right? Let's talk about buyer's market, seller's market, all this good stuff. Chart on the left. If we have more than 6 months worth of inventory, we have a buyer's market. These numbers are actually in San Diego. So the last time we saw a buyer's market was somewhere around 2011, 2012. Neutral market, somewhere between 4 to 6 months. We had that from, let's call it the middle part of 2014, right up until the middle part of 2019. From that part on, anything less than 4 months, not 6 months, extreme seller's market. If we look at where we are for the last 3 months in a row, December of last year, dear Lord, the editing on this is priceless, isn't it? 1.5 months. January of this year, 1.6 months. February, 1.5 months. We are in an extreme seller's market, all right? So coming from here, active listings. This is the big picture right here. You could see, we talked about this before when we were talking about mortgage rates. Anywhere from 10 to 15,000 was the norm up until the middle of 2019. We slid back down and we entered 2020 as a year with like 4,500 listings. Everyone's like, oh my God, we have nothing available for sale. Yeah, stand by. It's going to get worse. All right, so we slid down to the bottom of the market in December of 2021 with 1,845 listings. Up to 5,348 in July of 2022. We are currently sitting through the month of February, or in the month of February, active listings were at 2,827. We're currently sitting between 3,000 and 3,100. All right, this is the big problem, is there's nowhere for people to go. Sellers are looking at this going, I would like to sell my house, but I don't have anywhere to go. I want to sell my house, but I can't afford the new payment with the higher interest rate. I want to sell my house and downsize, but I'm going to pay the same amount of money I'm paying for my 3,500 square foot home for that small little 1,400 square foot townhome. This is the problem we're having with active listings and how it's tied into the interest rates. There's nothing indicating that we are going to see an accumulation of inventory. We could have 3,000 homes come on the market, but we are going through them. There is not this accumulation of going from 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000 homes month over month over month. We're bouncing around between 2,500 and 3,000. You can see right here, there's no accumulation of inventory. Until we see the accumulation of inventory, pricing is going to stay high. So let's go to the next one. This is going to be new listings, all right? July of 2021 was the most recent peak, 4,568 new listings in the month of July. I want you to notice we came up to the peak and it did not get better. Same thing in 2022, June, 4,288, down. Last year, we bounced up to June of 2023, 2,800, a little over 2,800, nothing but down from there. Here we did have the little bit of a down, up, down. This was a very interesting year in 2023. This was the start of the super low inventory. Here's where we are this year. January, 2,612 listings. Dropped down about a little over 300 active listings to 2,294 in February. This is not the peak. That is not what I'm saying. But this is a very interesting drop. The reason we saw this increase was for two reasons. One, as we saw the active listings decline, they came off the market. They were withdrawn. They were canceled, whatever that looked like. In the end of November into December, those sellers simply pushed the button and the house went back on the market in January. We also always have a subset of sellers that always want to be the first ones on the market in January. So they spent the month of December preparing the house. They had already interviewed an agent. They were staging it. They were taking photos. And when January came around, they pushed the button and they went live. February, not a shocking decline that we had. And it goes right back to there's nowhere to go. Interest rates are too high. Right? And now the third one, pricing's getting too high. We're going to get to that, how these all tie together here. All right, so now this is the next, this is the last key metric right here. This one is very important for you home buyers. These are pending transactions. These mean that the house that was active was on the market, it accepted an offer and went into escrow. So this is an indicator of buyer activity. In December of last year, we had 1,303 homes that went into escrow. Remember, that correlated to a jump in pricing. Extremely low number of homes, big jump in pricing. We saw from December to January a 28% increase in the number of homes that accepted an offer. That's buyer activity. That's a 28% increase in buyer activity. And those are only the buyers that got their offers accepted. In a lot of the properties we wrote offers for our clients, we would run into, I think the lowest was 8 offers. The highest was 49 offers. We saw everything in between there. We saw 20 offers. We'd see 30 offers. We'd see 26 offers. We'd see 18 offers. All over the place. Competition is there. That 28%, that's only talking about the people that won. It went up another 5% in the month of February. And currently, as of today, if the trajectory stays in the same angle that it's at right now, we will add another 5%. So we will go from a 33% increase in activity from January through February to a 38% increase in activity, only the offers that were accepted, once we go through March. As the interest rates come down, this is going to start to turn up very, very rapidly. So let's go ahead and go to what are we looking like here going forward? What do we have to look forward to over the next few months, right? Seasonally speaking, March is the start of the buying season. January is kind of the warm-up. February is the hors d'oeuvre, and we are about ready to get into the main course here. All right, so interest rates, they're going to bounce around. We could see some little drops depending on job numbers, depending on CPI, depending on PPI. We can see little drops, but we're more than likely not going to see a substantial drop in these interest rates. We're not going to see a half point or a full point drop necessarily until the Fed cuts the rates, and we're already looking into the summer for that. As the interest rates come down, we know that buyer competition is going to increase. We know there are already a lot of buyers out here, and every, call it a quarter point or a half point, another 10,000, another 20,000, another 30,000, another 40,000, maybe even 50,000 more buyers are entering the market here in San Diego. As your competition increases, multiple offers, the number of offers increase, which drives the sales price even higher. All right, and so that comes back to inventory. There's nothing available. So if we have, call it 30 people out writing offers on a home in Carmel Valley right now, when interest rates come down another quarter point, that's going to go to 45 or 50 people. When it comes down again, it's going to go to 50 to 55, 60 people. You're going to have the same insanity that we saw in 2021 unless the inventory increases. And again, there's nothing indicating that we're going to have an accumulation. We will have homes come on the market. We will have a townhome will come on the market. Everyone who's looking for a townhome is going to have a feeding frenzy, and that seller is now going to go buy a single family home. The single family home who has a 1,800 square foot home that wants to go to a 2,800 square foot home, that 1,800 square foot home is going to come on the market. The townhome owner is going to snap that up. That 1,800 going to 2,800 is going to snap up the next bigger one. It's going to continue to go up, and it will start to come back down. But we're not going to have this accumulation of inventory. So we're going to be in a high interest rate environment for the next few months. More than likely, we'll see some up and downs. Buyer competition is going to increase. Every time you see a drop, boom, it's going back up. Inventory is stuck. Median sales price. What the heck are we looking at here? The median sales price is going to continue to go up as long as we have a tremendous number of buyers and not a lot of homes. In 2021, we saw the pricing surge extremely rapidly. We would see a home come on the market and sell for $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 over asking price. We saw situations where the market was moving faster than the 30-day escrow cycle. We are primed to have that again. As a market, we're already up about 5.5%. We're looking at basically getting, if everything stays as it is right now, we're going to be somewhere between probably 855 and 860. We're going to tie or reset the record for median sales price. This market could jump another 10 to 15% on top of what it's already done. That would be a 15 to 20 plus percent increase from January to the peak of the market in 2024. That is a big deal. That is a really big deal. So the question that you need to ask yourselves is, what's more important to you, having a low interest rate or getting a better purchase price? Because there's a cost to waiting to buy. Every month that you wait, the home is going to be more and more and more expensive. You're going to pay $100,000 more for a home. You're going to pay $50,000 more for a home, whatever that looks like. So do you want to have a better purchase price, which does not change as long as you own the home? Or do you want to have a lower interest rate? Because you can wait for the interest rate and you're going to have a higher purchase price. You can buy now and have that lower purchase price relative to what's coming. You simply refinance. That's what the savvy buyers are doing right now. All right. And so those of you that are selling, let's say that you own $1 million home and you're wanting to go to buy a $2 million home, but you're going to wait. Hey, I'm going to wait because the value of my home is going to go up. If it goes up another 10%, that's awesome. I'm going to be able to sell my house for more. Yeah, you are. A $1 million home is going to go for $1.1 million. Absolutely. The $2.2 million home, or the $2 million home is going to sell for $2.2 million. You're paying $100,000 more for the house. That's the math that nobody really walks sellers through. The cost of waiting on the buy side and on the sell side, unless you are moving down in purchase price. If you're going to sell a $2 million home and it goes up to 2.2 and you're going to buy $1 million home that's going to go up to 1.1, you're up $100,000 going in the opposite direction. But if you're looking to move up, there's a cost to waiting that a lot of people don't see. So from here, let's go ahead and get into some questions. I know we had a couple email ones. I see a couple here on the chat. We're still under the 30-minute mark, which is pretty awesome. All right, the first one from Nitin. Why are prices jumping so much? It makes no sense. It is simply it's supply and demand. It's supply and demand. The number of homes that are out there versus the number of buyers. People need housing. This isn't a new car, a new fancy car. It's not a new wardrobe. It's not a new purse. It's not a new pair of shoes or whatever that is. This is something everybody has to have a home. Everybody needs that. So people moving due to schools, people moving due to wanting to go to a different area within San Diego, moving out of San Diego, moving into San Diego. We have a huge military population, huge tech population, huge biosciences population. This city is just simply growing. Remember, we still only have one runway. All right. And so prices are simply going to continue to jump. As interest rates come down, more and more buyers are going to come on. There isn't going to be an accumulation of housing. It means prices are going to get driven up. Pretty straightforward there. Good question. The next one, this one was sent in earlier by Suzanne. How is the election going to play into all this? All right. So let's see if we can answer this without being political. In your traditional election year, presidential election year, so every 4 years, we normally get to the September timeframe and the market pauses. It pauses for September and October because everybody is basically looking like, what the heck is going to happen in November? There are a lot of people that will look at a presidential election and go, if that guy gets elected, we're all going to die. If that guy gets elected, the world's going to come to an end. It comes from the left to the right to the left. Everyone thinks the other party, if the other president wins, the world's going to come to an end and all the houses are just going to get torn down or whatever. I don't know. All right. And so that's normally what happens. It'll be interesting to see if that happens this year. The one thing that is new this year that it hasn't been around in this fashion with any of the recent presidential elections going back to, let's call it at least through the 2000s. If interest rates continue to come down through the summer, which there's the earliest we're going to look at is in June for an interest rate. So if there's a June, July, August, September interest rate cut, if rates come down through August, through September, into October, home buyers are going to do what home buyers do. They're going to buy houses. Sellers are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to sell their house because now they can afford to buy the new one. I don't know. I don't know what effect the election is going to have. Traditionally, it will slow everything down. If rates are coming down, nothing is going to slow down here. Prices are just going to continue to go up. People need to buy homes. People want to get their kids into a different school area. They want to get closer to the coast. They want more land. Whatever that is, it's going to continue to happen. So, Suzanne, great question. All right, we got 2 of them on the text. And so those of you that are sending in your questions, send them in on the chat. If I don't have time to get to them, we got a few minutes left. If I don't have time to get to them, I will personally answer them via email for you. Anybody who has questions after this, if you want to email them over to me, by all means, I will personally reply to every single question that you guys ask. All right, so we got chat from Jared. Do I really see pricing increasing another 10 to 15% if the rates drop? Yes, especially if they drop into the 5% range. I think that we will see a lot of people come onto the market. That will be a lot of people who are renting right now that are waiting for the rates to come down. So those are brand new buyers, not necessarily first-time buyers, but they're renting right now. We will also see a lot of homeowners put their property on the market. So now we have more options, but they are also going to buy another property. So there's going to be an absorption rate that's very high. And that's going to lead to another 10 to 15, maybe even higher than that percent increase from where we currently are right now. We're already up 5%, 5.5%. Pure chaos is coming. Those people that wait, there's going to be a price to pay. All right, we got one more question. If you guys have any questions, type them in. If not, go ahead and send them to me via email. Jacob, thank you. Appreciate the nice comment. All right, Sarah, last one we're going to do before we run out of time here. When do I see more homes coming on the market? Great question. The traditional buying season starts in March. We're already clearly into the buying season right now. The majority of homeowners will start to put their homes on the market April, May, and June. Traditionally, June and July is the peak month. So I think we're going to see that ramp up to there. I think if interest rates continue to drop through July, August, September, we're going to see more and more homes come on. It's just going to depend upon the rate at which the interest rates drop. That's going to largely determine when we're going to see more options. There are some times in Carmel Valley, if you wanted to see a home under $2 million, I can offer you one home to look at right now. One total house under $2 million. If you want to look in Bay Park, I have a total of 2 under $1.5 million. All right, there's just nothing out there. When we get to the middle of the summer, the 1 under $2 million, assuming pricing doesn't jump, we're going to see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those to go look at potentially, but they're not going to stay on the market. They're going to come on, they're going to get purchased, they're going to escrow, and they're going to move off. So that's what we're looking at in terms of when we're seeing more properties. I think by the time we get into November and December, we always see a drop in the number of listings coming on. We're just getting into the holidays. All right, so that's we're going to call that for the questions. Anyone else who wants to type them in, go ahead. While I'm wrapping up here, I will get to you on email. All right, next steps for you guys and gals. If you are a home buyer, on the left is your QR code. Seller, but yours is on the right. If you're a buyer, there's a few different things I want to chat with you about personally. Inventory Amplifier Program. If you're looking at Zillow, Redfin, etc., you're seeing everything that's publicly available. We have 14 other methods of finding homes that are not publicly available. Rate Relief Rebate Program. This is a newer program. We've had it for about a month or so. Has been phenomenal for the buyers that have used it, reducing your interest rate. And then most importantly, as we're in this multiple offer market and we're heading into an even crazier one, the 55 plus different strategies that we're using with each offer to beat multiple offers. What I am able to do for you is to narrow down your offer to competing against 2 or 3 or 4 other offers, not 20, 30, or 40 other offers. So let's chat about that. Home buyers, click that QR code or scan the QR code. We don't click them. Scan that thing. Let's get a time to get on the phone or get on Zoom and talk about this. Sellers, home valuation. What the heck is my house worth? Is the market's continuing to jump up? We're getting asked that question a lot. Strategies to sell and buy at the same time. This is going to be a lot of homeowners in this position. Move up, move down. I want to sell, but there's nowhere for me to go. How do I get around that? Let's talk about these different strategies that we've tested and proven. And then listing price strategies. In this market as it's jumping, how do we price your property to generate multiple offers? How do we price your property to create a bidding war? How do we price your property to maximize the equity you have so you can go buy the new home? So we got both ends of this, buyers on the left, sellers on the right. Next month, we'll have Muhammad Tawi with us from Guaranteed Rate. Appreciate you guys coming out today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take it easy.